What's happening, Hardwood Nation? This is episode 2 of Hardwood Heroes. I'm your host, Eric II. It is our job and our pleasure to give you all the best information from all of your TVC teams. Most teams are getting through half of their season, so we'll see teams start to make adjustments. Some teams want more wins, some want to keep putting in work, and the best part is we'll be here to witness it all. So let me lay out the agenda for tonight. Our reporters will join me and discuss the 9 teams in our coverage. Blake and I are going to do a fast breakdown of the first place Lady Spartans of Alexander and Athens Stud Muffin head honcho Griffin Lutz, and we'll end the show with our Heroes of the Week. But first, let's check out the standings for the TVC. No change in the Hawking standings. For the ladies, the Lady Wildcats are not only the number 1 team in the Hawking, but tied for number 1 in the state. But the Lady Eagles are only a game back, ready for that opportunity to avenge their loss to Waterford. Federal Hawking is on a 4-game winning streak, hoping to carry the momentum into the next 2 games as they take on the top 2 teams in the conference. Waterford stays at the top of the conference for the boys, but Trimble has put together back-to-back wins and remains 1 game back. Eastern, Belpre, and Miller are all battling to be in the top 5, and South Galley and Fed Hawk are still looking for their first conference wins. In the Ohio, the top 4 has not shifted. The Lady Spartans have won both their games in 2017 by an average of 36.5 points. But Nelsonville York is only a game back, and just like Eastern, they are waiting for their rematch with the number 1 team in their conference. The Lady Bulldogs won their first conference game against the Wellston Lady Rockets towards the bottom of the standings. Now, the Athens boys also rose from the 3rd spot to the 2nd spot in the Ohio, but the Bulldogs, as well as the Marauders, are 1 game back of the Vinton County Vikings. Despite the 3rd best overall record in the Ohio, Nelsonville York is 1-4 in their conference, so that's where we'll start. The last time we saw the Lady Buckeyes, Newark handed them their 2nd loss of the year. That wasn't the story Monday against the River Valley Lady Raiders. NY reporter Matt Cuddy, he joins me to break it down. What's good, Matt?
It was all good for the Lady Buckeyes this week, Eric. The girls were able to turn on a dominant performance on Monday, defeating the River Valley Lady Raiders 72-41. You had to wonder, coming off a loss in an almost 2-week break, if the girls would be slow coming out of the gate, but that was not the case.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, 72 points is a season high for the Lady Buckeyes. What was clicking? What led to that offensive explosion?
You were correct there, Eric. This was the first time this year the Buckeyes crossed the 70-point threshold, and ironically, Coach Bobby Cassidy credited the team's defense for the success on offense. The team ran a tight press that resulted in a ton of turnovers and plenty of easy baskets. All in all, Jessie Addis led the way with 23 points, while Jordan Fick added 14 of her own. Looking forward for the girls, they have a couple tough matchups this week as they'll look to keep pace with those Alexander Lady Spartans at the top of the TVC Ohio standings.
Now, you mentioned Alexander. The boys squared off with the Spartans Friday night. How did the Buckeyes fare in that matchup?
It came down to the wire, but the NY boys just came up short, dropping the conference showdown 45-39. Key factor in the loss was Hunter Edwards' absence from the lineup. Hunter was in Florida this weekend for a high school football all-star event, and unfortunately for the Buckeyes, they were left with major holes both in the offensive and defensive ends. But like I said, the Buckeyes were right in this one until the very end.
Oh yeah, when you lose someone, you need somebody to step up. Was Aaron Davis able to pick up some of the weight?
Aaron Davis had a tough night. The Spartans held him to 0 points in the first half. He eventually finished with 10 points, but it just wasn't enough for the Buckeyes. You have to give Alexander a lot of credit because they did a good job of keeping him out of the paint and forcing him into tough jump shots. This loss ended NY's 5-game winning streak, so I'd watch for the Buckeyes to come out next week looking to get back to their winning ways.
Oh yeah, they definitely want to get back on the good foot. We'll keep an eye out for them. Thank you, Matt. Now, you will find Hardwood Heroes over all social medias, but my favorite has to be Snapchat. Look us up under the username Hardwood Heroes. In addition to content and games, you will get to look at the interesting individuals we have at Hardwood. You might even catch me in the gym dropping buckets, so follow us. Now, I doubt we at Hardwood Heroes are having as much fun as Vinton County is. Vinton County reporters Jordan Gallagher and Tyler Corbett are here to talk about the Vikings remaining undefeated as well as the girls playing some of their best basketball.
Now, before we start, Tyler, I just wanted to ask, how many points did you have in your high school career again?
That number would be 0, Jordan, which puts me over 1,000 off Tristan Bartow's pace after he hit that number against the Logan Chieftains on Thursday. And the show Bartow was one of the many key players in Vinton County's big 77-54 win over the Chieftains. To go along with Bartow's 24 points, the Vikings were led by Nayland Yates' 27 points, and Derek Jones contributed 16. The Vikings set sail from behind the three-point line, connecting on 11 triples.
As great as the Vikings were from 3 on Tuesday, the game itself on Friday was even greater. This was a fight from start to finish, at some points literally, as the two teams were having none of the other. Vinton County was able to grab the 64-56 win thanks to a great game from Derek Jones, who finished with 21, and Player of the Week candidate Tristan Bartow went off again with 19 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists.
Now, their win against Alexander was their second single-digit win of the year. They are a scary team, but the Lady Vikings are making moves of their own.
Yeah, 3-and-D, a philosophy that has been around as long as the three-point line itself, and one that the Vikings are starting to perfect. In their last 2 games, they've hit 23 three-pointers. That's MJ numbers, guys. Yeah, I know, I got jokes, but you want to know what's not a joke? They forced 33 turnovers in their game against River Valley. That's more turnovers than minutes played.
Yeah, Jordan, the girls put relentless pressure on River Valley all night, running a full court press for the entirety of the game. From the moment the Lady Vikings dropped their first bucket, the press was on, and the outcome was never in doubt. Cassie Bentley finished with 17 points and 15 boards, while Darian Radabaugh added 14. If Radabaugh continues to help out Bentley and Sammy Thompson, then the wins will pile up for the Lady Vikings. While currently sitting at 3-2, the girls have 7 more games in conference play to try and take home another title. Vinton County with a big win against Meg stays undefeated. Pretty hot start, to say the least.
Oh, yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch, and they win ball games. What more can you ask for? Thank you, guys. Now, let's go from 11-0 to 0-13. The Federal Hawking boys are still looking for their first win of the season, but the girls are on a 4-game winning streak. We have Fed Hawk reporter Clark Wicks here, the biggest Cubs fan east of the Mississippi. He's going to tell us how the Lancers performed this week.
The Lancers really are struggling to find some positives from this season, Eric. At 0-13, they're still the only winless team in the TVC. Now, it may sound blunt, but this team is just too short. And you know what they say, you can't coach height. The Lancers have just 3 players on their varsity roster that are taller than 6 foot. For comparison, Athens has 12. This glaring height disadvantage translates into effortless points in the paint for opposing offenses. Paired with a seemingly incurable turnover bug, this has just been a rough season overall for the boys. Although they continue to lose, first-year coach Josh Vernon assured me that despite the score of the game, his team continues to work as hard as ever. And honestly, Eric, that's all you can really ask for. While the boys may not be having the season they wanted, the girls are beginning to look like they can contend in the TVC. After starting their season with a 1-point win over Athens, the Lancers lost 6 straight by an average of more than 22 points. Since then, they're 6-1, good enough for 5th place in the Hawking. This week has been huge for the girls. They traveled to River Valley, won by 3. Went to Miller, got that 1-point win. And then they topped off a 6-game road trip with a 20-point win over Southern. Now, don't get too excited just yet, Eric. These wins are great and all, but the Lady Lancers have 6 days until their next game against 2nd seed Eastern. Then they'll be hosting top seed Waterford right after. If this team wants to play dark horse and pull an upset in either of those games, they're going to need to keep up this momentum. And this week-long break won't make that easy. Regardless of how they fare in those next 2 games, these girls are just starting to get a taste of winning, and they aren't showing any signs of slowing down. Now, oddly enough, the boys also have most of the week off. They take on Waterford Friday night and then travel to South Galley on Saturday in search of that first win.
Oh, that's going to be a fun matchup. 2 winless teams in their conference. Thank you for the great work, Clark. Now, it's fun being a hater. Drama and trash talking is always entertaining, but our tweet of the week comes from Waterford basketball with love. Player Tyler McCutcheon said, "If you're happy, Waterford basketball is happy." That's so sweet of you, Tyler. I wish we were all this positive. Keep tweeting at me, keep tagging me, and maybe you'll be featured on our show. I want to keep this positive energy going. This positive energy is probably how Waterford has felt all season. Both boys and girls continue to head the TBC Hawking. We have another tag team with Waterford reporters Scott McDonald and Nick Mullins. They will break down the success in Waterford. What's up, guys?
Eric, you talk about high energy. The boys team brought some and more Tuesday's game against Eastern. And as we have seen before, this is a team that can burn you from deep. But Tuesday was not the case. They only shot 9 threes all game.
Coach Sims recognized that this team was relying too heavily on threes. He decided to shut down anything beyond the arc. This forced the Wildcats to work on their half-court press and allowed them to come away with easy transition buckets.
Yes, the transition game for the Wildcats was huge. Coach Sims realized that the Eagles had a freshman advancing the ball up court. So, during halftime, he emphasized his half-court press to test out the young player, and it worked to perfection. There was a stretch of 3 straight turnovers in the third quarter that all led to transition baskets for Waterford. They forced 17 turnovers overall and completely dominated the second half.
Scott, they outscored Eastern 46-27 in the second half and ran away with this one, 71-46. They continued their dominance in the 80-52 victory over Belpre. The game was close besides the 29-4 run Waterford made in the second quarter, and they also came away with 5 double-digit scores.
And speaking of dominance, one team that is very familiar with rolling through the Hawking is the Lady Wildcats, coming off a win where they only allowed 12 points. 12 against Wahama. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but I believe that's like 3 points a quarter. And it is not much of a surprise anymore, but Allie Kern was the leading scorer with 12 points as well as 9 rebounds.
Although Allie was the leading scorer, the rest of the Wildcats chipped in with 9 of the 10 girls scoring. And yes, Scott, when the Cats are playing defense, that low of a scoring game is always going to be the case. The Lady Waterford Wildcats just coasted in this one, 49-12 in the victory over the White Falcons.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's turning out to be a great season for both the boys and the girls. They look to continue this dominance in the Hawking. Now, the Athens girls, they had a similar success this week, picking up their first TBC win. Taylor Nimmo joins me on desk to break down the Bulldogs. What's going on?
It was quite the week for Athens this week. There was plenty of excitement for both the Bulldogs teams. The girls beat Wellston 59-41 on Thursday night, securing their second win of the season. These girls were on fire, Eric. They were dominating both sides of the court all night long. We've seen the progression from this team throughout the season, and Thursday night they finally found their rhythm. Laura Mandrick was the leading scorer for Athens with 21 points, followed by Olive Harder with 12. Now this team has been through plenty of adversity this season, but I got a chance to talk to Coach McNeil and see just how they managed to stay positive and keep the ambition to win.
We really work on the process of learning to try to get better every day, and one of the things that we say is better today than we were yesterday. So that's what we try to do.
The girls will try to carry this momentum into their next conference game against Alexander on Thursday. The Lady Bulldogs weren't the only ones to beat the Rockets this week. The boys also beat Wellston 72-30 on Friday night. It was a great win for the team, but also particularly special for senior Griffin Lutz as he hit his 1,000th career point. They ended the week off on a high note. However, they had a rocky start with a 71-45 loss to Parkersburg on Tuesday. Athens has one of the hardest schedules in the TVC, and playing teams with the size and aggression of Parkersburg is only going to prepare them for the rematch against Vinton County later on in this season. The boys will head on the road to play their next conference game at New Lex on Tuesday.
They got to keep this momentum going. Thank you for breaking it down for us, T. Nims. Now, if you missed any of the games this week, do not be concerned. You can find them on our YouTube page, WOUB PBS. Online host Blake Baker will recap games throughout the week with our reporters. Our full show will be posted on our page, so you can share that as well as individual segments from the show with your friends and family. Now, it's easy to take a look at the standings and see where teams fall, but why are they there? I'm joining online host Blake Baker for his Baker's Breakdown, where we have 2 bucket getters that make their teams contenders.
Oh yeah, right now we're going to try and step out of our journalist role and more break it down like a coach for the good folks at home tonight. And I know we keep talking about him, but if I were a coach, one guy I would kill to have in my lineup is Griffin Lutz. We know he's coming off of that foot injury. We know he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and he's certainly not letting his last season in the Plains go to waste. He's got his Athens boys off to a good start. They're 7-2 overall, just 1 loss in the conference to that giant Vinton County. And one thing he never lost when he was out with this injury was his ability to create opportunities for his offense. He brings the ball up all the time. He's a tremendous ball handler. He can pull up mid-range and hit those jumpers in your face, and he gets into the lane with ease. He can really hurt a team all over the court, and he's just a phenomenal catalyst for this offense. So let's take a look. One-on-one situation, he notices it's a numbers game. He's quick enough to dive into the paint, and he gets 3 defenders on him, but shields his body enough for a clean finish at the cup, and that's 2 points going the other way for the Bulldogs.
That's a tough bucket. I play basketball. I can't do that, and it definitely will create space for the Athens Bulldogs, and that's probably why they're at the top of the TVC, but he's also good at facilitating.
Yeah, not a whole lot of people can make that bucket. But yeah, I would argue that is his more important asset, is his ability to facilitate and get his other teammates involved. He's been responsible for running that offense for 4 years now, that Bulldog offense, and they have to be pleased with the way he's done that. He's been awesome in his ability to be that catalyst. And you see, this time he's not bringing the ball up, but he will get the pass, and you can't allow him this much space in the middle of that defense, or he's going to cut right through. And because he can finish so well, everyone's going to close on him, and nobody checks out his buddy Logan Maxfield. And it's just like John Wooden drew it up. Nice little kiss off of the glass, and once again a bucket that Lutz created, but this time allows another player on his team to get those points. So you can see how he's able to get everybody else involved and draw that defense in on him to kick it out to one of his buddies.
And he's been consistent with it. This is his 4th year doing this. But for the Alexander ladies, Leah Richardson, she has a similar role.
Oh yeah, she is definitely adding to her legacy in the Spartans uniform. She's the best player on one of the best teams that we cover in all the TVC, and she can impact the game in so many ways as well. We see here that an offensive rebound preserves this possession for Alexander, but you can never, under any circumstance, leave anybody named Richardson this wide open on the perimeter, especially when you have all 5 of your defenders in the paint and just so far away. You got to get out there and contest her shot, get a hand in her face, or she's going to splash at home 9 times out of 10 and make you pay for it. That's the danger that she poses to defending teams on the outside. She can also hurt you on the inside. On Thursday, Coach McKnight placed the responsibility on her to neutralize Meg's Cassidy Betzing by pulling her, keeping her out of the paint on defense. But Richardson found that avenue for herself and an advantage on offense when she brought Betzing into the paint. So just possessions after hitting a wide open three, no hesitation. She's into the paint, calling for the ball, and she gets it in a nice little shimmy shake move, gets Betzing off of her for an open look, and it's that easy. She can score inside and out. She can hurt you in so many ways, like I said. She's a great defender, but an even better scorer, and she's the main reason that the Alexander Lady Spartans are having the best year that they're having. She's so versatile, she's so fun to watch, and I think she can carry this team to heights that they've never seen before, Eric.
So smooth, so smooth. That drop step is hard to execute. Anywhere in front of half court, Leah is dangerous, and that team is dangerous, and she's the reason why this team is at the top of the TVC as well. But beautifully broken down. Thank you, Blake. Now, when you see Blake's face, that means we're halfway through the show, and there's no halftime. We don't need breaks, so stay tuned. We still have reporters breaking down Alexander, Eastern, Trimble, and Meg's basketball. You also don't want to miss Blake and I delivering our Hero of the Week picks. And it's all coming up right now. In Albany, the Alexander boys picked up 2 huge wins this week, breaking a 4-game losing streak. Alexander reporter Maggie Shandrick is here to talk some Spartan basketball.
That's right. The Spartans are back in the win column after defeating River Valley and Nelsonville York this week. In a huge 68-38 victory over River Valley on Tuesday, the Spartans found their groove and took over. Their full-court press forced the Raiders to turn the ball over and led to easy points for the Spartans. Junior guard Luke Kish had one of his best games this season, scoring 20 points. Coach Jim Kearns was pleased with Kish's breakout game and said all his hard work this summer is paying off. Chase Harris recorded another big game, adding 21 points to the Spartans' score, and senior Genesis Williams pulled down 10 rebounds.
Oh, it's always good to see teams recover and pick up wins. What's the lowdown on their victory against the Buckeyes Friday night?
Eric, the game was close and competitive all 32 minutes, and Alexander went into the locker room at halftime up 24-20. In the second half, the Spartans went on a 13-0 run, but the Buckeyes didn't let down and cut Alexander's lead to 2 late in the fourth. The Spartans held on and picked up the 45-39 victory. Wyatt Radford had a big game, scoring 14 huge points for Alexander.
Now the girls, they've won 7 straight. What's leading to all this success?
There is a lot, Eric, and of course the Richardson sisters. They are reliable and knock down shots every game. Leah had 18 points in a 55-24 victory over Megs, while her younger sister Rachel added 14. Other starters, Jayla Mace, Kenna Rice, and Lexi Mueller also combined for the team's continued success. But when talking to Coach Corey McKnight after the victory over the Marauders, he praised senior Lexi Whitney, who has been with the Lady Spartan program for 3 years now.
Lexi's the best 6-man, or best kid off the bench we've had ever. And it's a lot of just intelligence-based, but it's, she plays hard, she boxes out, she jumps for rebounds. So I feel like we're deeper than we've been since I've been here.
She is definitely a player who is behind the scenes, but contributes to a lot of the team's growing success.
Team is so much tougher when you can have players off the bench be productive. And maybe we'll have a best 6-man or woman award this year. Thank you, Maggie. Now, we're going to slide over to the Hawking side of the TBC. I'm joined by 2 reporters who I would never have on my bench. Eastern Eagles reporter Joe Fracasso and Nate Moore are going to tell us what's going on in Reidsville.
Well, Eric, it was a tough week for the boys out in Reidsville, but let's talk about another dominant week for the girls. The Lady Eagles have been blowing opponents out of the water this season. 8 of their 12 victories have been by more than 20 points, and Lady Eagles added 2 more this past week. On Monday, Eastern beat Trimble by a score of 60-33, and on Tuesday, they won 56-30 against South Gallia. It was a mix of both offensive and defensive dominance the past 2 games, like it's been for most of the year.
That's right, Joey. Eastern took full control this week. On offense, Eastern controlled the paint efficiently as they scored with ease down low and also hit a number of outside shots. When it comes to the other side of the ball, the Lady Eagles have been nothing else but spectacular. In both games, they caused an insane amount of turnovers, leading to easy fast break points for the offense. In their first game, Eastern opened up the second half, forcing 9 turnovers in Trimble's first 11 possessions, and in their matchup against South Gallia, they forced a total of 30 turnovers, just a total shutdown when it comes to Eastern's stout defense.
No question about it, Nate. The girls are flying as high as any team in the TVC. But on the other hand, the boys suffered 2 defeats to their 2 closest rivals.
Well, Joe, despite the losses, one positive moment to take away was that star player Jet Facemeyer joined the 1,000-point club this past Tuesday. This comes at no surprise, as Jet's been the key contributor through scoring and offensive leadership ever since he played his first minutes on varsity. However, even though 1,000 points is a great accomplishment, that's still not going to slow down the Jet from trying to lead Eastern to a successful season.
You know, I couldn't agree more. Jet and the rest of the team are hungry for victories, but they ran into two very, very tough opponents this past week and lost to both of them. In the game that you mentioned before, Eastern did suffer a 71-46 loss to Waterford, and on Friday they lost 53-37 at home to Southern. But with that being said, the Eagles do have an easier week coming up with games against Miller and Trimble. I feel they could pick up one, possibly two victories.
2 dubs would be huge for the boys, huge for the Eagles. Thank you, Joe and Nate, for the great work. Now, our show is only a half an hour long, but our show lives forever, and the internet makes this happen. Type in woub.org/heroes to rewatch full episodes of Hardwood Heroes. You will also find video and written recaps for every game we cover throughout the week. We do other things too. Explore the other sports, click around, find the news stories that are important to you. Now, winning is important, but it's something that Gloucester fans are conditioned to. Trimble reporter Nick Niehaus is on desk, and the Lady Tomcats are looking to improve on the offensive end. Were they able to do that this week?
Well, Eric, the offensive struggles continued throughout the entire week with low-scoring games against both Belpre and Eastern. Throughout the whole first half of the game against Eastern, it seemed like the Lady Tomcats had a great chance to upset the Eagles. They were able to move the ball around and find easy open shots either down low for their young center, Brianna Bramer, or outside the arc for a 3 from Caitlin Spears. The hard-nosed defensive pressure from Eastern didn't seem to bother Trimble at all in the first half, but it was a completely different story for the Lady Tomcats offense in the second. Coming out of halftime, Eastern played a full-court zone press, and it gave Trimble fits. Trimble turned the ball over 9 times out of their first 11 possessions on offense to start the half, giving Eastern a 15-0 run to begin the third quarter. The defensive side of the ball was not kind to Trimble either, as they sat in a zone all game and Eastern was able to tear it up with their outside shooting. Once Eastern was able to figure out how they could exploit the Trimble defense, the game was pretty much over before the final buzzer.
Turnovers, rough week. But was it the same case for the boys?
Not at all, Eric. The boys had a huge week this week, finishing with wins in both of their games against Miller and Federal Hocking. They started off with Miller and pulled a close one out 56-50. Up next for Trimble was Fed Hawk, a team hungry to grab a win and end their 12-game losing streak. Trimble started the game very slowly, trailing the Lancers 3-10 early, but turned it around in the second quarter, outscoring the Lancers 29-6. The Tomcats were able to score easily on the fast break, almost every other possession it seemed. Forcing turnovers and getting out into transition was the best offense they could put out on the court. Tyler Slack and Randy Hickson were a 1-2 punch offensively. One would rebound the ball and the other would just release for an easy transition layup. The Tomcats' defense was just as impressive too. Fed Hawk was not able to get anything they wanted on offense, and Trimble forced a lot of turnovers with their full court press. These turnovers turned into even more points for the Trimble offense. Once Trimble was able to find their mojo in the second quarter, it was clear there was no stopping the Tomcats from a landslide victory. After such a big win, the Trimble Tomcats will hope to keep their strong offensive play for the next conference game when they head to the road to face Wahama on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Nick. Now, let's keep this winning going. The Meigs Marauders came into the week winning their last 8, but if they had any shot at the TBC title, they got to knock off Vinton County. They had a shot Friday night. Meigs reporter Clark Woolley joins me now. Was Meigs able to keep this winning streak going?
Well, you know, Eric, it might be overlooked, but the win over Southern on Tuesday continued the Marauder winning streak to 8 games and gave Meigs a lot of momentum heading into the heavyweight fight against undefeated Vinton County Friday night. Similar to this highly anticipated matchup last season, Meigs came out of the gate slow and struggled to take the rowdy MacArthur crowd out of it. However, in the second half, Meigs changed the defensive strategy and their zone forced Vinton County to shoot contested shots. With the defense causing issues, it was only a matter of time before the offense followed suit. Behind Luke Muster, the Marauders were able to pull within 5 points in the final minutes, but the clock wasn't on their side as Vinton County eventually prevailed 64-56. Eric, although Meigs wasn't able to get a win, I would say only one loss in the span of a month isn't too shabby.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Now, we know the girls haven't had as much success as the boys have thus far. Were they able to turn it around this week?
Well, you know, Eric, hardly anyone has been as hot as the boys in Pomeroy, but the girls were able to get a solid win against Belpre early in the week and snap a 3-game losing streak. Meigs had inconsistencies on the offensive end all night long, but Cassidy Betzing and Marissa Noble were able to contribute 18 and 15 points respectively and to pace the Lady Marauders. Meigs also made 9 of 11 free throws in the final minutes to secure a win against a tough non-conference foe. However, much like the boys, the Lady Marauders found a much more formidable opponent later in the week as they traveled to face Alexander and the Lady Spartans. As Maggie mentioned earlier, this was a completely one-sided game as the Lady Marauders fell 55-24. Megs found themselves in a 21-4 hole after the first quarter, and at one point had as many turnovers as points on the board. They struggled breaking Alexander's trap defense and were forced to make errant passes that helped start Spartan fast breaks. The Lady Marauders will have to shake this loss off quickly as they come against TVC Hawking powerhouse Eastern on Monday. Eric, Coach Casons will get these girls right, and I'm expecting a much better effort and for Megs to bounce back as soon as possible.
Nobody wants to deal with those teams back-to-back. Clark, thank you, sir. Now, Megs is trying to climb out of a hole, and I know what would help. Our heroes of the week. Blake Baker is back. What's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, I'm ready to announce these players the ball this week. I'm ready to get it out to the fans.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I closed last week, so I will have the honors of starting us this week. Let's go right down the street. Athens guard Laura Mandrick. She was the leading scorer in Athens' first TBC win against Wellston on Thursday. Mandrick is a freshman, and she's been a consistent positive for the Lady Bulldogs. Thursday night, she was 7 of 12 from the field, a perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line, finished with 21 points. Now, she's not only efficient from long range, but she has the ability to attack and draw fouls. She was 80% from inside the three-point line Thursday. And even though this was the Lady Bulldogs' second win, their team is made up of mostly freshmen and sophomores. Having pieces like Laura to build around could lead to a bright future. And they have to go through the process. We all know about that process to get better, and they're going to become great. But with her at the forefront, I know they'll be just fine.
Yeah, it's awesome to see him get that first conference win of the season. Hopefully she can piece together some more games to get him some wins in the future. But
definitely.
Vinton County has put on a show all season, and Tristan Bartow kind of runs that show, and he's my hero of the week. The senior point guard averaged 22 points a game in wins against Logan and division rival Megs this week and shot 63% from the floor. Tuesday against Logan, he needed 15 points to reach the 1,000-point mark, and he scored 24. He became just the 4th player in Viking basketball history to surpass the milestone. This week and all season, he's been the rallying point for the Vikings. And that's saying something considering they have Derek Jones and Nayland Yates on that starting roster also. He communicates well on the floor. He's a force on defense. He's money from the free throw line. There really isn't much more you can ask from this kid. And he and his team have been absolutely on fire all season. Hopefully we can see some more big-time weeks out of him in the coming weeks.
Oh, definitely. And the pressure is only going to build. They're undefeated right now. And they're at the top of the TBC. Everybody is after them. But we're going to talk about the other 2 players who scored 1,000 points this week, Jet Facemeyer and Griffin Lutz. Congratulations to those guys. But it's time to shut it down. We will be back next Sunday at 11 o'clock p.m. You can keep up to date with all of our content at woub.org/heroes. As always, I'm your host, Eric II. Please make sure that you come back. We like having you here. Follow your boy at junior_3 on Twitter. You can follow us as a whole at Harwood Heroes as well. Like us on Facebook. Go on Snapchat. I want to see your faces. You want to see my face, hopefully. And I'm reminding you to be heroic. Thank you, guys.
That was real good. That sounded like we had a online video.